So I watched JERMELL CHARLO versus Tony Harrison, the first fight. I watched it over last night since the rematch is coming upon us pretty soon. And I have a stunning confession to make. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to Real Life Boxing!
Blessed love and blessed night. Oh, boxing world, boxing nation, fighting world, fight nation. It's Coach Fire and this is Real Life Boxing. Tony Harrison versus JERMELL CHARLO. I watched the fight over again last night. And if you guys have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you guys know that I felt like JERMELL CHARLO won the first fight. But I have a stunning confession to make after watching the fight again last night. Hey, before we get into it, I'm going to ask you guys to smash on the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when new content is being uploaded, and you can be notified when we are going live here at Real Life Boxing. Let's talk about it. So, JERMELL CHARLO versus Tony Harrison. I watched the fight over last night. Of course, I felt like JERMELL CHARLO won the first fight. I felt like he won it easily. Of course, Tony Harrison got the decision and won the championship belt from JERMELL CHARLO. A lot of people think that Tony Harrison won the fight. A lot of people think that JERMELL CHARLO won the fight. But most of the people that I come across, they feel like, you know, Tony Harrison really won the fight. You know what I'm saying? He really outboxed JERMELL CHARLO. So, watching the fight over again last night, you know, on my channel, we listen to reason. You know what I mean? If I think somebody won the fight and somebody else thinks that, you know, the other guy won the fight, a lot of people think that the other guy won the fight or was close or it could have been a draw. I go back and I watch it over. You know what I'm saying? Just like I did with Regis Progress and Josh Chillin, and I gave y'all a second video after I rewatched it. Well, this is that video for JERMELL CHARLO and Tony Harrison, even though I've watched this fight plenty of times, you know, when it first happened. But I said, let me go back and look at this fight again and see what I get out of it. My confession is that I still have JERMELL CHARLO winning the fight by an even wider margin. So last night I scored the fight and I scored it. Now I know, I mean, I scored the fight 9 rounds to 3 for JERMELL CHARLO. Then I have in all of those rounds that I gave to Tony Harrison were all close rounds. So I understand that there were a lot of close rounds. Close in the sense of there wasn't much output by either one of them. You know what I mean? Tony Harrison landed some good counter punches and JERMELL was pressing forward, still landing punches. And that was pretty much the story of the fight. You know what I mean? I feel like even the rounds that Tony Harrison did win were really close rounds, and those rounds could have went to JERMELL CHARLO. Now, the rounds pretty much went like that. Close rounds, but there were a few rounds where JERMELL dominated Tony Harrison. There are a few rounds where JERMELL hurt Tony Harrison. He damn near knocked him out in the 12th round. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, with the rounds being so close, and then the few rounds where JERMELL CHARLO dominated Tony Harrison, it's kind of hard to find a draw in there or to find where Tony Harrison won the fight, just like with Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor. Plus, JERMELL CHARLO just outworked him. I don't feel like Tony Harrison did enough work. Now, he landed some good counter punches, all right? He landed some good counter punches that had JERMELL CHARLO's head snapping back. But in those very same rounds where he landed, you know, and we're talking, when we say he landed a few counter punches. We're talking very, very, very few. Okay, we're talking very few. In one round in particular, he landed a nice counter right hand in which JERMELL CHARLO was kind of off balance, so he had to reset his feet. But you could tell it was a good right hand, and JERMELL CHARLO felt it. In that same round, I believe he landed a 2-3 combination on JERMELL CHARLO. So that's 3 punches. But in that same round, JERMELL CHARLO was still pressuring him, and still landing his punches of his own. Now, I do want to say I can see where people say that Tony Harrison boxed better than JERMELL CHARLO. That I agree with. He boxed better than him, but that doesn't mean that he won the fight. I also would like to say JERMELL CHARLO, in this fight, he didn't get enough credit for his defense. You know what I mean? Because Tony Harrison, first of all, he never really threw that many combinations in this fight. And when I mean combinations, I'm talking about like a 1-2-3-4 or 1-2-3-2 combination, like 4 punches. He was very basic in his attack. It would either just be the jab, the 1-2, or a 1-2-3. That was the combination that he threw, a 1-2-3. In JERMELL CHARLO, he didn't get enough credit for his defense because he made Tony Harrison miss a lot of punches. There was one round where Tony Harrison threw, this is like the only combination that he threw all fight. I think he threw a 5-punch combination, like a 1-2-3, like a 1-2-3-2, and then a left hand to the body, and then a right hand over the top. And he only landed 2 of the punches. I think he landed the left hook to the body, and maybe just the jab in the left hook to the body. But he only landed 2 punches out of the combination, and JERMELL CHARLO made him miss everything else. And JERMELL CHARLO made him miss a lot in this fight. Like I said, Tony Harrison was really basic with his approach, with his attack, a 1-2-3, and JERMELL CHARLO would make him miss every single punch. Or he may hit JERMELL CHARLO with the jab and then miss the 2 and the 3. And this happened repeatedly. Not to mention JERMELL CHARLO pushing forward, landing his punches, and clipping Tony Harrison a few times. You know what I'm saying? Like rocking him a few times. I will say this about JERMELL CHARLO. I feel like he could have been pressuring Tony Harrison more. Like he was coming forward, but it was really still a calculated approach. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he just has to like just go towards him. You know what I'm saying? Just put the pressure on him. And that's what Derek James and them was asking him to do later on in the fight. I also feel like JERMELL CHARLO, he had a real hard time with controlling distance in this fight. And like I said, just because he's having a hard time doing these things doesn't mean that he lost the fight, because I still feel like he won the fight. You know what I'm saying? But I see the things that people look at, you know what I'm saying, and they're like, oh, this is why he lost the fight. But in no way in hell did Tony Harrison do enough to win that fight. But like I said, I feel like JERMELL CHARLO, he struggled to control distance. When I talk about Errol Spence a lot, I talk about how Errol Spence is a master at controlling distance. I also spoke about Naoya Inoue recently and talked about how he's a master at controlling distance. And what I mean by controlling distance is keeping the distance far enough that you can land your punches and that your opponent can't land their punches. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by controlling distance. Inoue does a great job of controlling his distance, not smothering your own punches when you land a few punches, not just going on the inside and smothering your own punches. Sean Porter does that a lot. He's not a good controller of distance. I feel like JERMELL CHARLO struggled to control the distance in this fight. He would start with his jab, he would double jab, but for some reason when he threw the right hand, it was just, I don't know if his timing was off with if the right hand was coming too slow behind the jab, but I feel like it was his timing and the distance. You know what I mean? The timing and the distance. His right hand was a little bit slow coming from the jab, because he would land the jab and then miss the right hand. You know what I'm saying? And Tony Harrison wasn't. It was almost kind of like Wilder and Fury, but Fury was, you know, moving a lot at the waist. Tony Harrison wasn't really moving a lot at it wasn't his waist movement or his head movement that was making JERMELL CHARLO miss his right hand. Like, for some reason, it just wasn't coming behind the jab, you know, fast enough. In his distance, like I said, for some reason, his distance was just a little bit, kind of off. So hopefully they've worked on that in training camp. I do want to finish this video out by saying there was a lot of there was something funny about that fight, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna keep saying it. That was the fight that these guys were both on the same card. They missed their VADA drug testing. When they did the media day workout and stuff, there was people smoking weed, like, in the gym in the media day workout. So I think that either the brothers, both of them, or JERMELL CHARLO himself was just under some fire from the PBC, or from, you know what I'm saying, from the leaders. And I think that he needed a knockout to win this fight, and he couldn't get it, you know what I'm saying, by like not even the ninth, by like the 10th, by like the 10th round, Derrick James is screaming at JERMELL CHARLO to pressure him and knock this dude out. And there's a sense of like no urgency in the corner of Tony Harrison. They got the towel around his neck and he's just chilling. Like, there was no urgency for him, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was just winning the fight by a ridiculous margin, which, man, to me wasn't happening at all. And like I said, I watched this fight again, and I watched it and I was trying to give Tony Harrison the benefit of the doubt. That was my mindset going into watching the fight, trying to give Tony Harrison the benefit of the doubt and just looking at everything that he did to see where he could have won this fight, or where this fight could have actually even been a draw. In my opinion, JERMELL CHARLO won this fight, not no 7-5, like, you know. And like I said, it's not like JERMELL CHARLO beat him up, but there were a lot of swing rounds, you know what I'm saying? The rounds were close. I felt like JERMELL CHARLO did the better work. He was pressuring. Look at Canelo Alvarez in Triple G, the second fight, right? A lot of people just gave Canelo that fight because he was going forward. A lot of people feel like Triple G still outboxed him going backwards. This was kind of the same thing, but different, because JERMELL CHARLO wasn't as effective as Canelo coming forward, and Tony Harrison wasn't as effective as Triple G was going backwards. But you see where they gave the fight to Canelo because he was the one pushing the action and doing the better work. But in this fight, I feel like there was a wider gap. And like I said, even though JERMELL wasn't as effective as Canelo was coming forward, and Tony Harrison wasn't as effective as Triple G was going backwards, I feel like the gap was wider. Like, JERMELL CHARLO won the fight by a wider gap. Landed more punches, had Tony Harrison hurt a few times, dominated a few rounds. Like, there were no rounds where Tony Harrison dominated. You know what I'm saying? Tony Harrison never dominated at any point in that fight. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that he was consistent with in that fight was using his jab. You know what I'm saying? Using his jab. And I'm not saying that he didn't land his jab constantly, but that's the only thing that he did consistent in that fight, was use his jab and go backwards. With all that being said, I feel like JERMELL CHARLO won the fight, and this is what I want to close this video out with. I feel like he needs to stop Tony Harrison to win this fight, because like I said, there was something, there was definitely some type of fishy business in the first fight. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, just to shut everybody's mouth and to win his belt back, I feel like he needs to stop Tony Harrison. It cannot be a close fight gone to the judges again, or he has to like dominate him, drop him a few times. It cannot be a close fight gone to the judges again. You know what I'm saying? JERMELL CHARLO has to win this fight by KO, by stoppage, or has to drop Tony Harrison a few times. That's just my personal opinion. You guys let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section. Like I said, I watched the fight again, and I was trying to give Tony Harrison the biggest benefit of the doubt, you know what I'm saying, that I could. But just watching the fight, I don't see, he just didn't do enough work. He got hurt a few times. There was certain rounds where he was dominated, and you know, I just can't see that fight being a draw, or see it going to Tony Harrison. But you know, in the people's defense that say Tony Harrison did win the fight, I can say that the rounds were close. You know what I'm saying? The rounds were close. So in that case, you know, I guess you can give it to Tony Harrison if you want, but I feel like Mel did the better work. He dominated a few rounds. He took a few rounds. There was no rounds that you could really say, oh, Tony Harrison won that round. He definitely won that round. You know what I'm saying? But there was definitely rounds where you could have said JERMELL CHARLO won that round. So you guys tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section, man. I can't wait for that fight. I think that it's going to be a great fight, and I'm excited about it. You know what I'm saying? And look out for the other videos coming up about all the next fights, because we got a great ending to the year in boxing. So like I said, you guys tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section. Smash on that like button, hit the subscribe button, keep fighting your fight, and most of all, protect yourself at all times. Peace and one love. So if you like this video and you would like to see more great content like this on the channel, go to the PayPal link or the Cash App link in the description and show your appreciation by donating any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. This is Real Life Boxing.